You learned Mandarin, Des, as well.
After that, yeah.
After that. Like,
That was inspired by that.
yeah, which has to, like, it sounds like impossible to, even though it was a lad I went to school with, he learned it, but he was living over there. And what inspired you to take it up? It was obviously to do comedy routines through Mandarin.
Yeah, I mean, the desire to learn Mandarin came from a couple of places, which was, first of all, the neighborhood I grew up in, Flushing, Queens, became almost completely Chinese in my lifetime. So, there would be times where I'd be seeing my neighbors and, I always tell the story. I used to, if I was home in New York and it snowed, I would shovel. And there's an old man next door, old Chinese guy, and he would always shovel with me, but we couldn't speak. He couldn't speak English. And I knew like san, so stuff like that. But anyway, I ended up working in Abracadabra with the Chinese guys in the first series I made, and my desire to learn Chinese then was really high from hanging out with them. Plus, I was actually doing kung fu. I was actually training kung fu with a Hong Kong guy who spoke Cantonese, and I just had a lot of like Chinese influence in my life at that time. And I went to visit Leo in China 2004, and I just really wanted to learn Chinese. So that's how, after In the Name of the Father, I was like, well, I think Chinese would be a good one to do next, So that's kind of where it came about, a desire to learn Chinese plus the Irish thing, and just thinking it would be interesting. Beijing Olympics. When I started pitching it, the Beijing Olympics was coming up. I didn't actually get to do the series until 2013, but there was just a lot of China at that time. So the first time I went back to New York, during my time in China, because I didn't come back to Ireland at all. I really wanted to spend one full year in China.
Yeah.
But, my dad had died in 2011. So I went back to New York for 2 weeks just to see my mother, my brothers. And I couldn't wait to get back and finally be able to speak to my shoveling partner. And he died 2 weeks before I got back.
No way.
I know, so sad.
So sad.
Yeah, it's just life. It's funny how it
yeah.
worked. I couldn't wait. Now, I talked to all the rest of them.
Yeah.
But he was my guy.
To
Finally be able to talk to him.
And see the smile in his face.
Yeah. Because he would never think that transition could happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
And by then, February to August, by then my Chinese was reasonable. I mean, it definitely would have been good enough to have a chat with him. I would have been delighted. But yeah, sadly he died. But like all the Asians, he was probably like 100 years old.
Yeah. And did he know you were learning it?
No. I'd say he didn't know. But once I was back and I was talking to them, then they knew.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they were just such a nice family that lived next to us. They're gone now. They live out in Long Island. But I whenever I saw them afterwards, we only spoke Chinese. We never went back to English after that.
Yeah. Fair play.